Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
You're listening to the House of Cards on Facebook, YouTube, and BigPatriotRadio.com. All licenses for music and content have been purchased by and are for the express written use of Big Patriot Radio Networks. All information, opinions, and topics are for entertainment purposes and do not expressly represent the opinions of the show's host and or producer. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. And good evening. There we go. Good evening, everybody. It is another Thursday night. How did you catch that last thing we did right there? That's brand new. Let's put that back up there. This is something cool. Got to share it with you. How about that? That's the new Beaufort County House of Cards logo animated version. Kind of cool stuff there. Again, good evening. Welcome, everybody. It is January 16th, 2025. I'm Mike Covert, your host for tonight. And we're coming to you live from the Big Patriot Studios right here in the great state of South Carolina. I want to welcome everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, and to those listening around the world on www.bigpatriotradio.com. Thank you so much for those who have been with us since day one. As always, we always want to thank you. And to those joining in for the first time tonight, possibly, we want to especially say thank you to those folks who are doing a huge part by donating stars. I'm hearing a lot of good stuff from folks that, hey, it's a good way to, we can help out. It's not that expensive. It's actually not expensive at all. On Facebook, donate those stars. That helps keep paying the bills and keep content coming and all that kind of good stuff. We also thank all those who make the weekly or monthly or whatever, all of the above contributions, by whether you see it down there below, our Venmo, easy to do that. You can keep stars going on Facebook or the Patreon club. We're trying to hit 2,000 stars for tonight on Facebook. And you may remember that for the past few weeks, I've been saying, I know these are inexpensive. How much do they cost? I told y'all last week, $10 or $9.99, I think it was, got like 830 stars. So you can see we're not talking about huge dollars at all. And the amount goes up and down collectively. More stars is more dollars, less dollars is less stars. So anyway, yes, stars are inexpensive and easy way to contribute. Does Facebook take its share? Oh, absolutely. They are deep into capitalism. I'm glad to see it. But that's okay. Everybody's got to do their part. So speaking of last week, let's see here, looking at the charts, number one song last week on Big Patriot Radio. Every Song is a Drinking Song from Midland. I believe my wife and I saw that group out at Palmetto Bluff several years ago. I think that was them. Anyway, Beaufort and Hilton Head Island were the number one listening cities. Let's see who came in. I thought I had that up here. Who was behind them? Yeah, Bluffton and Somerville rounded out the top four.
Bringing you the best selection of hits for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
BigPatriotRadio.com.
Yeah, let's get into it. We have a wonderful guest coming on tonight here in a little while. I believe she's back there in the green room already, getting herself all prepped up and ready to go. You're not going to want to miss this. Wow, what a story. And but first, anyway, released this week, and that's coming up. That is coming up. Released this week was the committee assignments for the Beaufort County Council for the 2025 term. We're going to take a look at those here in a second. But what was even more interesting, to be quite honest with you, and let me put this around here so I can pull these up. What was interesting, not so much that what was there, it's what wasn't there that I found to be, well, let's just say telling. So anyway, let's go here. And let's pull this up. And we're not sharing. How is that? Why is that? Bear with us here. We got to get the tab up. Got to get the tab up on the entire screen. Why are you not doing it? There. Bear with us. There we go. All right. You should see it now. So anyway, we'll talk about this. As you see at the bottom of the graphic, where's Passament? Where's Passament? Let's take a look and read through these. Remember last week or a week before, I guess it was maybe, we gave what I thought, or I guess it was last week, what I thought these would be or should be. And that meant absolutely nothing. It was just my take on, where people are and what little I know. And here is what is to be. So not a lot of surprises, natural resources, and they renamed all the committees back to the way they were actually when I was on council and prior. Natural Resources Committee, York Glover, chair, not a huge surprise. I mean, he's very agricultural. And this is obviously natural resources. It has to do with agriculture and other things, but not surprised. Vice Chairman Paula Brown, members Gerald Dawson, Larry McKellen, and Tab Tabernick. Community Services, Chairman David Bartholomew. Again, not a surprise. I think I may have even picked that, to be honest with you. Vice Chairman Tom Reitz, good call. Members York Glover, Larry McKellen, and Tab Tabernick. Finance, Administration and Economic Development, Chairman Mark Lawson. I was really hoping to see that change. That's too bad. But anyway, that is what it is. Vice Chairman Logan Cunningham. Finance, and we're going to talk about this in a little while. It has something to do with the guest that is coming on, has to deal with budgets. And I just don't think this is the way this should be. Be that as it may, other members, Paula Brown, Jared Dawson, and Tab Tabernick. And the Public Facilities Chairman is Logan Cunningham. Vice Chair is David Bartholomew. Members Paula Brown, Mark Lawson, and Tom Reitz. So the question remains, but where is Joe Passament? So I talked to one member of County Council about this this week, and I was reminded that kind of quote, Alice asked everyone to put down in writing what committees they wanted to be on, if there were any chairs or vice chairs that they thought that they wanted to do, and then what boards and commissions they would like to be liaisons to and of. So when I asked, I said to that particular council member, I said, so why isn't Passament on any committees? And I was told, Passament didn't send anything in, so she or they, and I'm assuming that means Howard and or Tabernick, did not place him on anything. So the conversation between myself and this council member went further. This person was talking about how Passament is not serving his constituents by not serving on committees. Okay, and that is true, but I stopped them dead silent in their tracks when I asked, so wait a minute, and I want you to think about this with me for a minute. I said, so wait, because he didn't sign up, Alice Howard and or Tab Tabernick accepted that and didn't put him on any committees. After this particular, that's what I take from it. I'll let you tell me. And matter of fact, we want to hear from you all night long. Chat away in your chat area, and we'll get it up here. But you tell me. That's because he didn't sign up. Alice Howard accepted that. And so this person asked me, well, what's your suggestion for Alice and Tabernick, and what should they do? My reply was very simple, very succinct, and very much so what is usual and customary in local government. That is, you would get assigned where necessary, just like everyone else. It is okay to ask members, where would you like to serve? But it is at the pleasure of the chairman where you do serve. We were not asked, not told, or we were asked rather, not told, this person said to me. And my reply, And please, again, I would love, you see where's the passman at. My reply, and tell me if I'm missing something here, was I said this. I said, listen to this. If we were to take your position that because Joe Passman didn't respond and didn't ask, if we were to take your position, this is me talking to this other council member. If we were to take your position, then if no one, just say hypothetically, nobody responded, or say only one person responded and they put down what committees they wanted, the thought process of what this council member was telling me would be there'd be nobody on any committees, because it came out that Alice Howard and Tabernick didn't put him on anything because he didn't ask for it. So if we use their logic, it would be, well, nobody filled out, so I guess we don't have any committees. Well, there was some, off collar, we disagree. We agree to disagree. And that's true. But I mean, that is what this person is saying, because Passman didn't ask and say, I don't know, pick one. Tom Reed, say he just didn't have time to go through the minutia of, well, I'll do this, this, and this. Just put me on the committee and let's roll. Does that mean he doesn't go on any committees? Absolutely, that doesn't mean that. In this person's mindset, it would mean that. And, if this is the thought process, and I can't, well, I guess I can, because the proof is in that sheet, and that came directly from county council. If that is Alice's response, that, well, he didn't ask for anything, so we're not going to give him anything, to me, and I believe to most logical thinking people, that is not leadership. That's not quality leadership. So anyhow, Chairman Howard needs to put, yes, I'm saying put, place, assign former Chairman Passman on the committees that all council members are required to be on, whether it's 2, 3, or 4, according to that, little piece of paper there. Some are on 2, some are on 3, some are on 4, some are on none. For that matter, looking at this list, McKellen, former Vice Chair Larry McKellen, is only on 2 of the committees. He's only on 2 of them. So he should be put, placed, assigned where he needs to be, because the people, and why is this? Why are you being so hard on Passman and McKellen? I'm not being hard on them. The people of their districts deserve to be represented equally as every other district. Give you an example. Paula Brown, I think, is on 3. I already clicked it away. I think she's on 3 or 4. District 8, well represented. The people of District 5, Joe Passman, or District 10, Larry McKellen, they deserve to be equally represented, fair and equal now, as those others. They're not. That's another way to look at it. Speaking of that, one way of looking at Joe Passman's non-committee assignments is that people, if you live, where do I have it here? Those people who are in Burton, Southern Burton, Kalawasi, Okatee, Riverbend, Oldfield, Lemon Island corridor, the 170 corridor from McGarvey's Corner west, Oldfield, I said Oldfield, you deserve an answer. You specifically are not being represented in finance. You're not being represented in community services. You're not being represented in natural resources, and you're not being represented in what else is left? Public facilities. You're not being represented. You have a reason to ask why. And that question should be, why is my voice not being heard in any committees? You see, there is what is the old saying? Consequences matter. For every action, there's a reaction. Why is my voice not being heard in any committees? Well, because we didn't sign up for any. Well, that's bullshit. Assign him. I'm a taxpayer kind of thing. Remember, folks, and you know, one part of me says, well, maybe you say this too much. But then the little guy on the other shoulder says, no, you don't say it enough. And that is county council members represent you, ladies and gentlemen. They represent every single one of you, whether you are black, white, fat, skinny, short, tall, rich, poor, one car, no car, 5 cars, a plane, a train, a boat, a moat, or barely scraping by. You are all equally represented on that county council, except for District 5. You don't have any representation in those committee assignments. Now, one thing that I do want to correct, and I had said this last week, I said it on last week's show, that the chair, in my opinion, should make changes to bring the county council meetings all across the county, like we used to do, kind of like a roadshow concept. Apparently that was done, and I will give kudos to Chair Alice Howard for making that. That was in fact done, but it had not been released publicly, that at least I was ever aware of. I got it sent to me privately. So with all of that being said, I deeply appreciate those kind of things, the roadshow concept, getting more people in the community, in the county, the ability to see, hear, taste, feel what's going on where the rubber meets the road right here locally.
Everything that rocks is right here. Right here.
Let's rock.
With Big Patriot Radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
And don't forget, you can put your comments on whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Just chat away, and we'll get them up here. And if you don't want them shown, you just say it in there, and I can, as long as I get to them, we'll either put them up or not. But be a part of the show. Let us know what's going on in your neck of and up there in your neck of the woods. So I want to talk briefly. Don't forget, we've got a great guest coming on here very shortly. Cannot wait to talk to her. And man, what a story. Anyway, I want to talk very briefly about something we don't normally talk about, and that is taxes, specifically state taxes. Now, in Governor McMaster's 2025-2026 executive state budget, he is proposing to cut the state income tax a paltry amount. Can you believe I'm saying that? A paltry cut from 6.2% to 6.0%. Now, yes, a cut is still a cut. Progress is still progress. We're going in the right direction, but it's only a whopping 0.2%. This cut that you will hear about, I guess it's next week or the week after, in the State of the State by Governor McMaster. However, a surprise was thrown this week as South Carolina Democrat House member Justin Bamberg from Bamberg County went to the well of the House and social media and so forth and said the following about McMaster's. I don't believe he went to the well of the House. He went on social media and radio and several places. He said this about McMaster's executive budget. Quote, it proposes that the state take $1.2 billion to add more money to the, quote, rainy day savings fund. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the state of South Carolina to do better for you. If you're out there grinding and you're working your 40, 50, 60 hours a week, instead of merely lowering the income tax percentage 0.2%, and this is a quote again, I propose we cut it to 0 for everybody. Cut it to 0 for all of the working people in this state. That's our farmers. That's our teachers, our law enforcement, our firefighters, our first responders, end quote. And that is State Rep Democrat Justin Bamberg. Wait a minute. Do what? Justin Bamberg? The guy who is always left of center on just about everything, but he's a good man. He's a good guy and an excellent lawyer, so I hear. He just said something that I agree with. He just said something that I agree with. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just to get me even more hyped, Bamberg came out and said shortly thereafter, quote, "The state doesn't exist just to collect money and make money off you every single year. We should not be doing nickel and dime cuts on income tax. Take the tax to zero." Bamberg went on to say they have people tricked. All these tax credits and dangling carrots to keep people blinded wouldn't be necessary if you just got to keep what you actually worked for. Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. That is exactly, that's exactly, daggone right. That's exactly, well, thank you. That's what I'm talking about. If you could just keep what you work for, you know, the proverbial, you know, I pay income taxes on the money I bust my ass to earn. Then I pay taxes on the food to feed my family. That I paid taxes to send my kids to school, but taxes as well on the place that I live. You know, in the car I bought, I have to pay taxes on it to drive it. You know how it goes. Anyway, if you could just keep what you work for. So this outlet reached out to House Representatives Weston Newton and Bill Herb Kurzman for comment about this usually very left of center representative making such a conservative comment about less taxation. Representative Herb Kurzman got back to me and he responded to my request and said, quote, "My opinion is a fair tax would work in lieu of income tax, but paramount on the taxing schemes should be property taxes. Property taxes are hurting owners and tenants more than any and is certainly regressive." I could not agree more, Representative Herb Kurzman. A fair tax on the state side and a flat tax on the federal government side. Now we're getting somewhere. But, bro, Representative Bamberg, I am quite impressed. But I bet the scorn talk that you get from Representative Gilda Cobb Hunter is going to be nasty.
Your Rock Authority. Patriot Radio.
I wouldn't tell anybody about this.
All right, we're going to. I understand our guest. I'm a little speedier than I had figured I would be. It's just about 7:30. We will see. I know she has had some internet problems. I think she is back there in the green room. If she can hear me, we will bring her on in a second. I just need to. If you can hear me, darling, let me know that you've got the internet going, and we can get you up. If you need some more time, no problem. We can do something else. We will do whatever it is that you're going to need. We'll give you that time. Man, there's a lot of chatter going on out there. You know, the State House is back in session. The Senate has been. Let's see. I see that you can hear me. Is the video working, or do you have that off on purpose? And that's okay. Just put on purpose. It's no sweat. The state Senate has been ad nauseum for the last couple of days about, and it's important, don't get me wrong, but it's the education bill as far as vouchers. Gotcha. And we'll get to you here just in a sec. But anyway, it's been very, I mean, I like Greg Embry from Horry County, but man, it's been tough. The House hasn't done anything. It's been all really perfunctory stuff, running bills across the desk. There's a lot of stuff going on. But we're going to keep you in tune. All right, let's bring on a guest for tonight. I want to give you a reader. Before I bring her on, I want to give you a Reader's Digest version of the story that happened. And my Reader's Digest version, I hope is close to the truth. It's from things that I found from the Beaufort County Sheriff's Department, as well as other forms of media. And I kind of pieced this together, and hopefully it tells the tale. Saturday, December 4th, 2021, approximately 11 o'clock in the evening, Sheriff's Office deputies responded to a report of shots fired on Detour Road in Seabrook in northern Beaufort County. Upon arrival, deputies secured the scene and learned that 2 females were shot following a dispute at a party. One of the women, 74-year-old Flora Mae Gant of Walterboro, was pronounced dead at the scene. The other, 30-year-old Shayna Mulligan of Beaufort, died en route to the hospital. Witnesses were interviewed and the scene processed for forensic evidence. In the interviews, it was learned that one of the parties involved in the shooting, a then 22-year-old Deontay Mitchell of Seabrook, again in northern Beaufort County, had left the scene. Contact was later made with Mitchell, who met with the sheriff's office investigators and deputies to provide his account of the shooting. At that time, Mitchell had not been immediately charged. In the ensuing weeks, and I can't quantify how many weeks that means, to obtain more information on what took place during the shooting, investigators located and interviewed numerous witnesses and evaluated evidence collected at the scene. That is per the Sheriff's Department. On Tuesday, December 28th, investigators met with a Beaufort County magistrate and presented the facts of the case, reviewing the investigation, and based on probable cause, the magistrate issued warrants for the arrest of Deontay Mitchell for 2 counts of murder and 1 count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime for the December 4th shooting deaths of both Flora Mae Gant and Shayna Mulligan. Mitchell left the state following the murders. Sheriff's Office investigators had enlisted the assistance of U.S. Marshals Service to locate him, and on Wednesday, June 8th, 2022, U.S. Marshals arrested Mitchell in Queens, New York. Now, Mitchell is back in Beaufort County. He is still in custody at the Beaufort County Detention Center, now almost 4 years after the murder, awaiting trial. Joining us now on the show tonight is the mother of Shayna Mulligan. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Sherry Anderson to the show. Ms. Anderson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It is. Thank you so much, Ms. Anderson, for joining us. And as I mentioned the other day on our phone call, again, please accept our condolences on the loss of your beautiful daughter, Shayna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sherry, you heard my description as I brought you on just a few moments ago of that night. And again, I took what things I could find and piece together a lot from the Sheriff's Department and then other media. But I'd like for you to tell us anything I have left out, if I've got something in the wrong order. That, even more importantly, I would love to hear the story about what a wonderful soul your daughter was.
Yes, your story is pretty much exactly what happened. It's just that at this point now, my family and I are seeking justice and closure. My daughter, Shayna, she was a very nice young lady, stay-at-home mom. She left behind 2 kids, a boy and a girl. The girl is 12, her son is 7. She was a very humble person, very family-oriented. She loved her family. And on this particular night, from my understanding, she went to a family gathering, her and some other family members. And this young man, I don't even think they know each other, got into a little verbal altercation, and she was on her way to the bathroom and he wouldn't let her get by. And as she attempted to make her way out the door, when she turned her back, he shot her 3 times in the back. Since then, they arrested him right after that happened. I think they arrested him, but they let him go. And when they let him go, he fled to New York. For about 6 months, they couldn't find him. They finally went to New York and found him there. They sent the U.S. Marshals to pick him up, brought him back. Well, he was in jail for maybe about 6 more months after that before they gave him a $250,000 bond, not just for, they didn't even give him a bond for both murders, just for that one. $250,000 bond for murdering 2 people. So that was a little bit of disturbance for me and my family. So we fought and fought and fought, got him back in jail finally. He went up for another bond hearing that was denied. The kid's father saw him on social media, on Instagram, I believe it was, where he had pictures of guns. He has 2 tattoos representing the 2 people that he murdered. And so I got in touch with the detectives and we got him back in court, and then his bond was revoked and he's still in jail. My thing with that is this has been going on now. This December coming up will be 4 years. We don't have any closures. We have no answers as to when he's going to trial. The only thing that I've been told is the fact that he has a medical issue, and that's why he has not been put on the court docket, which my family and I are very upset about that, because I have never heard of, someone committing such a gruesome crime that he has committed, not going to court because of a medical issue.
Right.
So this is where we're at with this. We're just trying to, like I said, get him back in court, get justice for my family, and try to put this thing behind us so we can move on.
I think that's what that only makes sense, Sherry, is that you just want closure. You want, Shayna to be able to rest in peace, and the family of the other lady. And from what I understand, a bullet, one of the 3 shots, I guess ricocheted or something into the house, killing. This is what, from my understanding, is killing Ms. Gant. Both families, you both need to have closure. I cannot.
Yes, I've been trying to reach out to Ms. Gant's family. I've been trying to reach out to them, and I just can't. I don't have any information, that was given to me. The number that was given to me wasn't the right number, but I'm sure, they want closure as well. I'm trying to reach them because I would like for us to get together and form some kind of march or do something to get this guy, behind bars where he needs to be.
And before I have some information,
it's like no one.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, no one's. I've reached out to the solicitors. I've reached out to several solicitors in Beaufort. I've even tried to reach the investigator. No one's returning my phone calls. I'm not getting any answers from anyone. So I don't know what's going on.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that because I have some information that you don't know about that I found out today during my investigation that I think is going to help you.
Okay.
But before we get to that, I think I've said this on the phone, and I want to say it again because it's so true. As a human, we want to say, "Oh, I understand how you must feel." I can't say that because I have no idea how you feel, but I can, and people can, and it's okay for people to say to you, "Hey, you know what? I want to grieve with you, and I want to support you, but we don't know how this feels, and this is going on the 4th year, and things have to happen." Anyhow, I did reach out. I did reach out to, and again, I'll go into this deeper here in a little bit, to the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office, and for a couple of days there, I didn't hear anything, and I figured I was going to try to get stonewalled. I did speak with the public relations gentleman there, who's a great guy. I've known him for a long time. And today, I got a personal phone call from the solicitor, and we talked about this case with what he was able to talk to me about, and more on that in just a second. I do want to talk to you. I want to ask you. I think you had mentioned something about this. The solicitor's office, they have a very it's like 21st century, 22nd century kind of thing with their victims advocacy, whether it's victim of rape, victim of murder, families of victims of rape or murder or child abuse, spousal abuse, whatever. They have an excellent center. I want to clarify this. Has that ever been offered to you and your family for any kind of support?
No, not at all.
Okay. And hold that thought. Let me ask you about the, well, no, let me go ahead and go into that. In talking with the solicitor about his victims advocacy, let me find my notes here. When I spoke with the solicitor, I mentioned to him that it was my understanding that that had not been brought up to you. Obviously, if it had, and again, I can't imagine the chaos that's been going on for the last 3 years. I just can't imagine. But there is a victims advocacy. I have a name for you of the lady who has been assigned to this. I happen to know her. Her name is Michelle Frazier. Michelle Frazier. She has been with the solicitor's office for it's probably 15 years or so. And that is the victim's advocate in this case. He told me, and again, we spoke. It wasn't text. It wasn't email. He and I talked. He strongly is asking for you to reach out to Miss Frazier, Michelle Frazier, at the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office in Beaufort County, and to get in touch with her and take advantage of the programs. There are a ton of programs, and I think she can put, and this is a great idea you have, put you and your family together with whomever is Ms. Gant's family. And I want you to know that he did come out and say, here's the name, Michelle Frazier. I want Miss Anderson to get in touch with her.
Okay. Can I elaborate on that for a second? I have reached out to Michelle Frazier. I know Michelle Frazier very well. I've left several messages on her voicemail. She finally, after probably about 3 or 4 months, finally returned my phone call just last week and was like, well, maybe you had the wrong number. I didn't get any voice messages. I have her number program in my phone along with her name. So I know I was leaving, I know I was calling the right number, and I know, well, I can't say she was getting the messages, but I know I was calling the right number. So I spoke with her briefly last week. She said that she will, dig a little deeper into, the situation or whatever, and then give me a call back. Had not heard back from her since last week.
Okay. I have the feeling, and I don't know if you can see me or not, but I'm kind of winking. I have the feeling that she may be getting a nudge, if you know, to make this conversation happen with you. And I do not mind, and I do this quite regularly. If this doesn't happen, if there's it's falling on deaf ears, please let me know. I will reach back out directly to the solicitor himself. That's one of the things that investigative media we can do is we can put the heat on to make this happen. I want to, but I'm glad to know that Ms. Frazier. I mean, that's a huge step. Let me ask you something. Do you know, or does your family know the accused, this Deontay Mitchell, and or his family? Do you all know each other?
No, we don't.
Okay.
And my daughter and him never saw each other that night. Before that night, they don't even know each other.
More important than the accused, I want to go back to your daughter. When you sit and think about your daughter, Shayna, and the 30, I believe she was 30. Is that right?
Yes.
When you remember the 30 short, and that's a short span that she was afforded on this earth, what parts of her life made her happy and excited? And you've already said her 2 children, and that's fantastic. But what are things that made her happy, excited, in memories that you have that in these days of deep sorrow will still make you smile?
She loved family. She just loved being around her family. I mean, she was just all about family and her close friends, and the moments that we shared with her, that's all we have left, to remember her by. But she definitely, her happy times was with her family and her close friends.
Wow. And I'm going to try to bring this up here. I have a picture. I'm not the best at hitting the right button, but I'm going to try to bring a picture up of Shayna. Such a beautiful, beautiful soul. And bear with me just a second here. And here we go. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's the only picture that I could find of your daughter. Yes. And such a beautiful young lady. If I were to assume anything,
yes,
Sherry, if I were to assume anything, it would be that, again, I'm not trying to beat an old drum, but you just want the closure for you and your family. If you were to get that, what would be the meaning of closure? Does that mean whomever is guilty is found guilty? Where does closure hit for you?
I mean, with him going to jail as he deserved, it's like right now we're just sitting around just, not knowing whether he's going to get jail or, how much time he's going to get, or, it's just like, it's just out there right now. It's not like, okay, he's already went to jail. He's already gotten time. And so now we can move on for this. We still have to go through the trial. We still have to almost kind of relive this whole thing all over again. So to just go ahead and get it over with so we can just remember the beautiful soul that she was and just move on from it, just close it,
I understand. I understand completely. There is a quote that I want to share with you, and to be honest, I believe I was told this quote may have come from you but I'm not sure. I believe in 2022 at a campaign stop at Battery Creek High School, Beaufort County Sheriff Tanner was talking about local crime, etc. I think, like I said, it was a campaign stop. Someone had asked, and I quote, well, what about your boy? To which Tanner responded, quote, oh, I just have dogs, no children, end quote. But again, you or whomever it was, the local resident got specific and said, no, I'm talking about Deontay. It doesn't matter. I don't need to know whether that was you or not. That's not the point. Ms. Anderson, I want to let you know that we at this podcast, this radio network, take this kind of thing very seriously, specifically on a couple of levels. In no particular order, to be honest with you, we want to see that justice is served, whether it is Mr. Mitchell or Santa Claus. Justice for Shayna needs to be served. It needs to be swift, and it needs to be accurate. It needs to be accurate. So, whomever it is, that's got to be right. The question of whether the accused is related to Sheriff Tanner or related to Mickey Mouse is only important if anything is being done for him or for anyone else that wouldn't be done for me or you. Okay. I mean, that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, if it is true, I mean, that's a real catchy, flashpoint. And that's, what's the old saying, blood cells and, that kind of stuff is front page. But that's not the point of me doing this with you. I want to put Shayna first. Certainly not Deontay. If he is guilty, he doesn't even deserve to have his name mentioned. Not his mother or his father, whoever they are. It's categorically, important that the solicitor's office get these trials through the system in a speedy and fashionable timetable, and to be responsive to you and to the public. To this point, I do not. Up to this point, I can't say that I see that. However, I'll add this. When I spoke to the solicitor, he reiterated again about Michelle Frazier, etc. When I talked to him, I said, hey, and I'm not a lawyer by any stretch. This kid, it was 2021, and he mentioned to me, he said, we didn't start on this, the solicitor's office, until he was back in Beaufort County from New York. And before it was with the magistrate's court and so forth. So he had mentioned that, obviously I don't know what the gentleman's or this young man's medical problem is, but he mentioned that had an extensive hospital stay possibly. Also, his lawyer or lawyers they either quit or he fired them or whatever. That is I don't want to say he did this as a trick, but that is something defendants have done, is to delay. Obviously, the further along it goes, it's harder for people like me to remember, 3 years ago, much less. I mean, I can't remember what I did last week. The root of the problem, in my opinion, is on a different level. And I'm going to talk about this after you and I are done. And unfortunately, it goes back to elected officials. But I want to stay on this. I don't want to just let this hang as an unfinished business. I really want to see the justice be served. And if we can help as far as with your family and Ms. Gant's family to march with you or what have you, we certainly would love the opportunity to do that with you, all in the name of Shana and helping this get closed. Ms. Sherry, is there anything else I can get you to add that you'd like to add about whether it's the tragedy or the beautiful life, very short life of your daughter?
Well, I want to elaborate on as far as the meeting at Battery Creek. Yes, I was the person that asked Sheriff Tanner, if that was his son or not, because that's all I've been hearing. And to me, to be honest with you, and like you said, it doesn't matter if Mickey Mouse is his dad. But what matters to me is, is he being treated differently because there's a possibility that this could be your son? I mean, I've witnessed, other crimes taking place way after this happened. And, these guys have went to jail and got sentenced already. I mean, I have never heard of anyone not going to trial because of a medical issue. This is the first. I mean, I'm sure they have doctors and nurses or whomever in prison. And right now he's in a jail cell. The hospital is just down the street.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, I mean, I don't want to believe this, but it looks like, he's getting favoritism.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me.
Fair statement. And if, nobody should have a hard time understanding why you think that or could think that. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, we're not accusing anything, but that question is a valid question. Yeah.
So, I mean, that question is always going to be in the back of me and my family's head, because it's like this December, like I said, will be 4 years. I've seen other crimes being committed. Those guys went to jail within a year and a half, 6 months. It's going on 4 years because you're having seizures in prison. I mean, it's like, come on.
Yeah. Miss Sherry, I appreciate you being on here. I want you, to come back and, again, keep me abreast of where, this is. Well, I'm already going to know where it's going, but what you all are doing as far as in the community, we'd love to be a part of that if you'd like.
Okay.
And,
sure.
Whatever we can do to help and in honor both Miss Gant but
yes.
I want to honor Shana.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and I will definitely let you guys know where this is going.
Absolutely. Stay. I want you to, if you can, stay. I'm going to go ahead and clear off the screen, but I want you to keep listening. There are some other things that are at play with this. I want to keep Shana at the forefront with our conversation. what you're going to hear in a second is it's part of the disgusting politics of all this.
Okay.
But I think it does have something to do with it. But Sherry Anderson, thank you so much for being on with us here tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bringing you the best selection of hits for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
BigPatriotRadio.com.
Such a tragic is not even the right word. I mean, that's unfortunately we hear about this kind of thing happening. I mean, it's I guess every day, really, but you don't really hear about it on a level like this every day. Now, there are murders and gun battles and stuff in Beaufort County that happen pretty much every day, but this right here, this is raw. This is raw. So anyway, I want to, before we go into our next story, in my conversation with the solicitor today about this, I've known him for a long time, and county counsel's relationship with the solicitor's office, the 14th Circuit is comprised of 5 counties. 5 counties make up the 14th Circuit. So he gets, or in this case, he gets funded from all of those counties, and it's based upon, what is it? Allendale County doesn't pay the same as Beaufort County for obvious reasons. I mean, we've got 200,000 people, and they've got 20,000 people. You get the point. But anyway, so I have been a part of seeing the solicitor's office for a long time because I helped with his budgets when I was on county council. So we talked about the medical thing with the accused, and he has an idea, but he doesn't. That happened before he was given the case. Did he fire his lawyers or not, or did they fire him? We don't know. What we do know is when you start peeling back, you've probably heard the old saying about peeling back an onion, one layer at a time. When you start peeling those layers back, the root of this problem, or the root of the problem in this part of the legal system in Beaufort County is an underfunded solicitor's office. Now, I want to paint the picture. You're going to see where county council's malfeasance and or misfeasance is leading to, and a part of the problem that that Sherry Anderson and Shana Mulligan's family are going through. You're going to see this as I paint this for you. An underfunded solicitor's office. County council provides in Beaufort County just under $9 per capita, per person. It's like $8.70 some odd cents, something like that, per person. If you do the math, times that for 200,000 people, it's $1 million something. Jasper County, $17 per capita per person. Charleston County, $15 per person. Horry County, $16 per capita, and so on. That means when people ask why, and I've heard this, I've seen this in writing, I've heard this written, why are there only 8 or 9 attorneys in a county that has 200,000 people? Well, the reason is because county council won't fund them properly. Right now, and I've done this math already, if you take the state average, which is $14 per capita per person, that's the state average across this state. York County is over $22 per person, is how they fund the solicitor. If you take the state average and do the delta, Beaufort County each and every year right now is just over $1 million short of what it should be funding the public defender's office. I asked the solicitor directly, knowing this answer, but I said, if you had the funding, the proper funding, could these cases be tried quicker? His answer was obviously there's a lot of variables there, but I could have a hell of a lot more attorneys than 8 or 9. His attorneys are carrying 300 cases apiece on average. Now, in this particular case, the attorney that the solicitor has assigned in this case, where Deontay Mitchell is accused of double murder and the weapons possession. The solicitor has assigned, probably, in my opinion, the absolute best attorney he's got in his office. They're all great, all 8 or 9, but the best one has been assigned to this case. That's a good thing. It sucks that all of a sudden, when you start looking at all of the dots of malfeasance or misfeasance from county council not funding that office fully and properly for 200,000 citizens, is aiding and abetting people sitting in jail for long periods of time because there's just not enough lawyers to try them. At first, I really, when I saw that the solicitor was calling me, I was ready. I was ready to just go, very serious, poignant. Why? He reminded me, because we fought this when I was on council. There were a handful of council members who believed that you should give more money to the public defender. That analogy, that mentality is absolutely ridiculous. That the public defenders don't carry 300 cases. It's only it's 30-40% or something like that of the cases in the circuit go to a public defender. The rest are criminal defense attorneys. How they get paid, I don't know, whatever. But it comes back to money and county council not funding as they should. Compare Beaufort County to Charleston County. Charleston's a little bit bigger, 350,000, I think. $15 per person in that county. That total goes to prosecuting from the state, the solicitor, David Pasco. In Beaufort County, $8.70 some odd cents per person. That's embarrassing. That's horrible. County council, you have to do a better job. You're going into your budget season now. If for nothing else, for the people like Ms. Gant or Shayna and her mother, Sherry Anderson, give the solicitor the tools to prosecute, whether it's Deontay Mitchell, Santa Claus, or Daffy Duck. Whomever it is, needs to have their day in court, tried as per the Constitution, and if they're found guilty, they should serve the strongest sentence available now.
Let's go! The station that keeps it rocking 24/7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
BigPatriotRadio.com.
Straight up 8 o'clock at the November 18, 2024 Public Facilities Committee meeting of the County Council, November 18, 2024 now. There was alarming discussion that sales taxes are still being collected from the 2018 transportation sales tax referendum. Whoa, pump the brakes, big boy. Let me repeat that. At the November 18th, 2024 Public Facilities meeting of County Council, a discussion took place that sales taxes, 1%, are still being collected from the 2018, that's 6 years ago, 7 now, transportation sales tax. At that time, approximately $25 million was in the bank and still being collected. This is 6 years later at that time. According to one council member, the business owner has to change and update their systems and point of sales, contracts, etc., And apparently many do not do this. Now, while I agree, yes, it is up to the business owner to do that, the state and the county, for that matter, has some responsibility there. It's not uncommon for buyers, you and me, to not notice the extra collected tax on our receipts. I'm sure there is somebody out there who zeroes down every single receipt and looks at the taxes. And if there's a tax they ask. And yes, we all should do that. But life sometimes gets in the way and we don't have that opportunity. So, it's not uncommon, okay? That doesn't make it right. Now, with this having the light of day being shed on this, individual customers that were charged, erroneous, and it's an erroneous charge. Let me back up just a second. Individual customers that were charged this is what I'm trying to get out. Assuming the business sends it in, the state keeps the money. These people who paid this can't be contacted because there's no record. I mean, that would be an exercise in futility. If the business doesn't send in that now expired tax money, in other words, if they know that they shouldn't be collecting it, but they are anyway, and they don't send it in, they're keeping it on their bottom line. The South Carolina Department of Revenue is supposed to send letters to businesses across the state to advise them that the tax is ended. When I had businesses, we got those, hey, this is ended. Your sales tax now is this, take away that. Or when it comes, a new one comes up, hey, we got 1%, add it to here. They do that kind of thing. Also, at the January 13th, 2025 Natural Resources Committee, 3 days ago, it was publicly announced, get this, it was announced that approximately $200,000 extra green space tax has been collected and is still being collected. This tax, the green space tax, was to end by law either approximately May 1st, 2025, or when $100 million is reached, whichever comes first. They reached the $100 million, according to reports, earlier than expected. That's great, but nothing is being done to alert the businesses to end this tax, as we are learning. Why? Why has the county not done anything to end this? So people, you're going to have to do it this way. You're going to have to look at your receipts every time you buy something, whether it's a pair of shoes, loaf of bread, whatever. You need to look at that receipt. And if you have extra taxes added, you need to question it. To the businesses out there, you need to correct your points of sale, your cash registers, your billing systems, your accounting. Stop charging. If you're charging the 1% for the 2018 tax, stop it. If you're charging the 1% for the green space tax, stop it. Also, if I were you, ladies and gentlemen, and businesses, I would reach out to the Department of Revenue and ask for a clarification on the green space tax. They'll be glad to. Accountants out there, you should be jumping up and down, especially for 6 years. If your clients have been either paying or receiving tax monies that were expired, we have a problem, Houston. Also, speaking of actions coming out of County Council, Beaufort County School Board, and Town of Bluffton councils, this channel released information last week that the Beaufort County School District was going to, or wanting to, purchase some of the Willow Run parcel, including the Foothills parcel along Route 278. This is the extremely large parcel of land almost directly across 278 from Eagles Point. Since then, it's come to light that the town of Bluffton, with its MOU with the school district, they want to change the existing development agreement that has been in existence for years yours truly was involved in this, that would allow the school system to get out of the requirement of having to build the north-south connector road. That's right. The development agreement says when that property is developed, the developer must build the north-south connector that is shown on every single drawing that is out there. That's part of the development agreement. That road, the north-south connector, connects 278 on one end. And anybody want to take a guess what the other end of that would connect to? Come on, give me your guesses. Put it in the chat bar. Somebody guess what the other end of the north-south connector would connect to. We'll give you a second. Put it in your chat bar. Who knows what it would check or connect to?
Bringing you the best selection of hits for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
BigPatriotRadio.com.
Nobody wants to take a guess. All of the hundreds that are out there on both channels tonight, you don't want to take a guess. All right, well, I'll give it to you. It's Phase 5B. Oh, Paul Coe, you win tonight's drawing. We'll tell you about your prize later. That's right. The existing development agreement says that if the Willow Run parcel is developed, the developer must install, build, provide this roadway. What does all of this mean? Well, this means Bluffton Parkway Phase 5B has, in fact, reared its ugly head. Yes, we were all told by town council and part of county council, but all of town council, that Phase 5B is not part of any plans they had. But the town of Bluffton has an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, in place between them and the school board. This MOU says, school board, if you buy that property, we'll take that off the table. They want to rearrange or redraw the development agreement. There are so many red flags going up right now. I mean, it should look like the sea of red China out there. There's so many red flags. I strongly encourage you, ask you, beg you all to contact all county council members, all town council members about this and express your concerns and your wants. We have been told that, we have told anyone that will listen by the strongest of numbers that Phase 5B was not wanted. If this happens, this is another egregious movement by elected officials to bypass and what I consider piss on the face of the voter. They've said they don't want this. Now it's a fast way. And hey, if there's anybody out there watching, and I see there's several elected officials. If any of you want to get on here, please do so and explain, especially the county school district, which, by the way, is the most liberal school board we've had in Beaufort County in decades right now. Aside from two, maybe three, definitely two. The third one, the rest, it is an uber liberally progressive school board. It does not matter what the public wants. They've proven that. Town of Bluffton has heard from people over and over, specifically the Rose Hill, the Shell Hall, the Woodbridge, that whole area that is impacted by this, how they do not want the wants of a developer, the greed of a developer to take precedence over people who pay taxes day in and day out. And all of a sudden they're going to have mass traffic out their back door. I made the pledge when I was on when I ran for county council that I would vote no for Phase 5B. And I voted no every time. I told Logan Cunningham when I was helping him run for my seat, do not vote for this. I don't know if he's still there or not. I don't know. Paula Brown has told me, no, she is not in favor of it. She's right across the street. This has to be shut down. Anyway, one of the final thoughts of the night, coming out of Columbia and the General Assembly. Remember last year, we finally had positive movement in the subject of judicial reform in South Carolina. Many far-right conservatives said that this was junk. It was not far enough. I claim that no, that's not true. And I am not a moderate by any stretch, but we take wins as we can. Again, politics on the inside, it's a game. Okay. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, not all at once. You take, we had this conversation with Judiciary Chairman Weston Newton on this show, that you take your wins as you can get them. Now, the left on this, they don't know what to think about this entire thing. You're not going to have a 180 of judicial reform. That's not going to happen. There are 2 states that are in the toilet with the judiciary, Virginia and South Carolina. We've started to make that turn. We've got a lot of road to go. Anyhow, recently, Representatives Todd Rutherford, Democrat, and Representative Gil Gatch, somewhat of a Republican, both came forward and have given stardom to trial lawyer-backed legislation aimed at facilitating their representation of violent criminals. I want to give some of the credit in this story to the folks at Fitz News. Now, these 2 are what we refer to as lawyer legislators. Most sane thinking people have come to the conclusion that having less of them in the state legislature might be a good idea. I happen to agree with that. Having less of them actually might be a fantastic thing. Either or, they have both introduced legislation to remove a state statute, get this, that currently requires judges not to give those who perpetrate crimes while on bond time served credit towards a sentence. They want to remove that. Yep. Wait a minute. You took a drink and you didn't hear what I said. Yeah. They want to remove the statute that requires judges not to give criminals while on bond time served on a sentence. What does that mean to you and me in regular Joe Schmo terms? That means more criminals would not be going back to jail for more crimes, rather serving under time served. That's right. Now, remember, it is a factual statement that there have been South Carolina criminals released only to reoffend, and some of those reoffenses here have even been, the result was death. We hear about this all over the United States, every corner. Biden's administration catch and release program, so to speak, where the likes of Laken Riley murdered. Representative Gil Gatch is no stranger to this. No. In 2023, Representative Gatch represented a gentleman by the name of Walter Clayton Pate III of Charleston, a man who benefited from a string of controversial judicial decisions after being accused of voyeurism, kidnapping, attempted murder, and criminal sexual conduct. A real swell guy. On August 28th, 2024, while free on his bond, controversially issued bond, I might add, Pate was arrested and charged again with 2 counts of voyeurism in Charleston County. This pervert needs to be under the jail. Yet Gatch is sold on the business of being a Republican in name only because, and I quote, "As someone who defends constitutional rights, I have found inequities in the law that need to be cleaned up." Ironically, his actions, however, seem to want to approve letting convicted offenders go. Use the time served from before. Where, gentlemen, is the basis of this? And do you not understand that prison and jail time is supposed to be used as a deterrent to future criminality? Now, yeah, I don't need to hear, well, prison is not a deterrent. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I think for most people, knowing you're going to go sit in that 6x6 cell for 20 years, that's going to make you think twice, I think. Mr. Gatch and Mr. Rutherford are quite possibly removing the antithesis of committing more crimes. They're going to remove that. Now you can go on time served. Who gives a shit? Commit the crime. I got time served. That's where these people go. That's the thought. Representative Rutherford, in his comments relating to this subject, relays back to the Constitution and its application, but the intent of his depictions argumentatively do not make sense. First Circuit Solicitor David Pascoe was interviewed by the folks at Fitz News, and he said this. He said, quote, "I trust the court's legal acumen a lot more than a pair of criminal defense attorneys in the legislature." Pascoe said, "The law compels criminals to respect court orders. Their bill disincentivizes the state's goals." Well, the General Assembly is back in session, as we have said, and follow this outlet, please, for this and other subjects throughout the legislative session, as we'll be hot on their tail.
Let's go!
The station that keeps it rocking 24/7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
BigPatriotRadio.com.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Again, help try to reach the 2,000 stars mark on Facebook for tonight. You still got time. Go on the Facebook links where you are watching Beaufort County's House of Cards or my personal page or Big Patriot Radio. Help out the show, giving them stars, or write down a Venmo link there scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Your generosity helps keep us bringing in new stories, investigating what we have and others as well. Join us again. Special show next Monday, the 20th, Inauguration Day, Martin Luther King Day, at 11 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, as we will be broadcasting. We're going to be broadcasting live the inauguration of President Trump and the festivities from Washington, D.C. Then we're going to be back on Thursday night for another Beaufort County's House of Cards. We're going to have the boys from New America Podcast, the New America Movement Podcast, that airs on Monday evenings on Big Patriot Radio, as we go into familiar political happenings in both the upstate and the low country. A whirlwind of stories just to blow your mind. Until then, be safe.